Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to start to walk you through is what the actual F actually happened today with the Rahimi case. Because if you guys have been paying attention on social, you've got pretty much two reactions. There's a nothing burger, which could have been a significant amount worse than it was, and we've got they're going to undermine the 2A forever. I mean, it's really like, okay, that's quite the opinion, or that's quite the spread. But I want to walk you through a few of the things that at least my synopsis on this, put my final statement on this, stance on this, because it doesn't feel right. There's some stuff in here, and I'm going to walk you through all the concurring opinions on later videos. I'm going to even show you the dissent. All of this seems to be angling at something bigger and broader, but let's break into it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field. Of course, right down there below, and I've got to hear you. And then make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And of course, this content was all made possible by American Hartford Gold, so I'm going to say a quick word from them, and then we're going to dive into this quagmire, because wow. The content today is brought to you by American Hartford Gold. And brothers and sisters, with everything popping off around the world, wars cracking off, we've got inflation issues, we've got stock market volatility, we have cash concerns, we have oil concerns. It's a good time to take a look and at least know your options with American Hartford Gold. They are dedicated to offering gold, silver, platinum, coins, and bars for your investing needs. Whether you want to do it delivered to your door or you want an IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, TSP, they've got options. This is something you guys should check out. At American Hartford Gold, they aim to educate clients about investments in the precious metal industry, strive to provide unparalleled customer service built on trust, integrity, and absolute transparency, while holding a goal of achieving 100% customer satisfaction. Click the link in the description or call 844-727-3199. That's 844-727-3199 or text Langley to 65532. Again, that's 844-727-3199 or text Langley to 65532. All right, beautiful people. The Rahimi case, the one that dropped today, the big bomb that came out of nowhere. Lefties are kind of acting like nothing happened. It's a very weird observation. If you pay attention to what's happening in the macro environment, it's very odd, especially in contrast to what they did last week with the Cargill case when they got their junk kicked in. Here's my original take on this. And if you guys were watching the live stream earlier, here's pretty much the synopsis. This is a tweet that I put out right after I read most of it. In regards to the Rahimi opinion, I've never in my life read a decision and concurring opinion that are talking about something other than the case at hand as much as this decision. A majority of this is groundwork for red flag laws, issues with Bruin, which stood unchanged, and balance testing. See this for what it was, groundwork for a future fight. And now that I've read the rest of these and read a lot of the responses in the space, I'm feeling pretty confident on standing by that. And let me explain why. The big risk that came with the Rahimi case was what the left wanted. And Mark Smith did a big expose on this. We covered it on this channel when it happened, and he's already hit it today. Merrick Garland, the ATF, the left, the gun controllers, they wanted a new sweeping differentiator of the Bruin decision. They wanted to gut it. They wanted to have a different way. They wanted interest balancing. They wanted means in testing. All of these pieces that I'm going to show you later on. But at the end of the day, none of that happened. The Bruin decision was referenced multiple times and stood in place. The Heller decision was referenced multiple times, stood in place. And they used that framework to come up with their conclusion in the Rahimi case. It's stated in all the concurring opinions, even in the liberal dissent or the liberal concurrences. So this entire thing is very odd. In fact, I looked out for some other areas and other people that I would look to for their opinion that may be different than mine. I don't know. Check this out. This is from Amy Swearer. Again, this is all on Twitter, and it's all linked. Rahimi hot take. The majority opinion is neither a victory nor a defeat for the Second Amendment. It's a draw, but a very specific type of draw, and she elaborates further in that tweet. And Amy Swearer, if you're not familiar, she's a legal scholar or a senior scholar at the Heritage Foundation. So this is not small potatoes. She gets in front of Congress, in front of the Senate. Like, she's well known in the space. So she marks it as a draw. I marked it as kind of groundwork for a future fight around red flag laws, Bruin decision, things of that nature. Because that's where I truly feel this was. This entire case was an operation to get red flag law groundwork laid out so they can have a bigger fight later. That's the way that I view this. And you've already seen some of the MSNBC stuff we're going to show you, or we have shown you, and we're going to show you. It's all leading in that direction because the language is very specific. But Let's jump over to someone else who would also have an interesting take that I value their opinion. FPC. Listen to this. As we explained in our amicus brief, the federal government has no constitutional authority to impose gun control on peaceable individuals at all, let alone the statute at issue in this case, again, the Rahimi case. While we disagree with the court's holding and dispute federal authority to enforce this regulation, we are encouraged that the court confirm the textual and historical analysis required under Heller and Bruin decisions. We will continue to eliminate disarmament schemes and restore rights to keep and bear arms through our high-impact FPC law strategic litigation program and other efforts. So, even FPC says they reaffirmed Heller and Bruin and they stood behind the statutory language. Okay, so if that was my original take, if Amy Swearer is originally saying it's kind of a draw, there's some good language, some bad language, because there 100% is. I'm going to walk you through all of it. And FPC is saying Heller and Bruin was upheld. Okay, let's get one more piece of information. This is from the National Association for Gun Rights. This is their entire statement. I'm going to zoom in on one particular part right here in the middle. The ruling is a narrow holding, upholding the federal law in question, but it breaks no new Second Amendment ground, and it establishes no explicit new loopholes for anti-gun lawyers or judges to use, at least not without misapplying the ruling's intent. And that right there kind of puts the final cap on it, in my opinion. What this was, I tend to agree with Amy. This was a draw. It had bad language that could be misused, and it had good language that could be used for good. Overall, it reaffirmed the Heller and the Bruin decision. Absolutely did. That's fact, and I'll show you all of it in the upcoming videos. But it also didn't set any new precedent and didn't set anything new out there for the left to manipulate, as NAGR wrote out there. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not like the language that was included around the government has the ability to take guns from people who they could be opposed as a threat, because that is a direct alliteration to red flag laws. Now, in this case, again, I'm going to show you all this, but in some of the concurring opinions, these justices said, well, if there's proof, there's evidence, there's 3 steps, then they have the reason and the way and the wherewithal to do it. Again, they leaned on conviction or evidence or 3 different steps to do it. The point is, this is all pointing to red flag laws. That's why the left went out on a limb with the Rahimi case, and they rushed it forward, just as Mark Smith mentioned in his video. The ATF and the DOJ wanted it in front of SCOTUS, because if they got a broad interpretation and they could reintroduce means in testing or balanced testing, they could basically say, well, the goods of the many overweigh the Second Amendment. That was the whole way they were doing it before the Bruin decision. They were looking to gut the Bruin decision. They didn't. And that's a really big important part, which I go back to again, Amy Swearer's take on this. It's neither a victory nor a defeat, it's a draw. And I think that's a pretty good assessment. I do not like the language that can be misused for the red flag laws. I'm going to walk you through exactly what those are. But I also did like Gorsuch, who was going completely against the government overreach. I liked Thomas, how he scorched the government overreach. There was good in here and there was bad in here. And honestly, I think that's the best way to leave this, and I think it's an interesting style of a video to compare of what's going on across all the spectrums of the gunfight in the social and the opinions and the statements. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think in the comments below? I will let you know. Well, you let me know, I'll let you know, and I'll see you on the next one.